And joining us now, Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen of Maryland, a member of the Foreign Relations Committee. Senator, you saw the Netanyahu visit here, and then, with no warning, which probably was a good thing as far as the U.S. is concerned, this attack in Tehran. And that seems to be what has really upset the administration was, here you had the negotiator who would be living in Doha, meeting with all of the players, the intermediary that we were working through, and now he was assassinated and doing it in Tehran when he was there for the inauguration of the new Iranian president and after he had just met with the supreme leader. There is no way that Iran could not respond in some fashion. What do we think they may do?
Well, Andrea, we don't know what they will do, which is why, of course, the Biden administration is doing everything possible to prevent that escalation, which could just totally explode a region that is already on fire. As you said, one of the fastest ways to de-escalate here would be to actually get that ceasefire and the return of hostages. When Prime Minister Netanyahu was here, as you say, the Biden administration was very frustrated about him putting new obstacles in that way. And I can say that I met with many of the Israeli hostage families who to this day, have been protesting in the streets in Israel because they believe that Netanyahu and his extremist government have not prioritized the return of hostages. So the administration is trying to get that back on track. After all, President Biden, I think, first unveiled that proposal at the end of May. But at the same time, the administration is moving U.S. military assets to the region, as we did around April 13th, when the United States worked with Israel and partners in the region to intercept over 350 Iranian missiles and drones at that time, which were in retaliation for the strike Israel took against Iran's consulate in Syria. So we really need to get to the root of the current moment and get that ceasefire and return of all the hostages.
And of course, the hostage families are, in a unique position, fearing that any extension of this could be fatal for their relatives, for their loved ones. But there is broad support in Israel, including from the defense minister, for going after Hezbollah in the north, for dealing with that crisis, which has been since October 8th, as well as support for getting out of Gaza and for feeling that they've accomplished what they could accomplish in Gaza. I don't know how you dice that.
Well, that's absolutely right. Look, I mean, Israel has been, under, raining Hezbollah missiles in the northern part of Israel. And you've seen now populations on both sides of that border, on the Israeli side as well as the Lebanon side, having to move and move away from their homes. So that is clearly an untenable situation going forward. The Biden administration has been working to try to negotiate a solution there, getting Hezbollah to move its troops north of the Litani River. But in the meantime, as you say, we see this continued escalation. And so this is why it's such a dangerous moment. It's why the Biden administration is doing everything that it needs to do right now to try to address the situation, to try to bring down the temperature a little bit. But the only way ultimately to address this really boiling pot is to get that ceasefire and return of all the hostages in Gaza.